Hey, what's up, guys? It's Bunny. I'm back again for a whole new video. I hope the Bunny Gang has been enjoying my videos. I know you guys are not usually used to seeing me wear a hat, but it's kind of a bad hair day, and considering what I'm about to do, I'm about to do like a quick little workout. I was going to try to do what I started up doing, um, I would say outside. But it started raining a little bit, and I'm not about to take that risk of being outside and, you know, not only trying to record it, but also trying to do a workout at the same time. So, with that being said, I'm going to do a little something in the house because I kind of started something up. So, I'm kind of trying to keep that groove going, even if it's only once a week. So this is like basic stuff you can do if you're trying to get into the groove of it. If you're not someone who's ever been like athletic or ever played a sport or anything like that, and you're just trying to break like either a little quick sweat in your house, or you're just trying to do some form of like exercises just to kind of get your body moving and keep yourself toned, this is probably the best thing you can do as far as like working out goes. So what I'm going to try to figure out is if this camera angle is going to work. I guess it is not going to work for what I'm trying to do. All right, that works a little bit better. Okay, so pretty much the first thing you want to ever do before you actually start like doing like a hardcore like workout is you want to kind of want to stretch your muscles a little bit. A lot of people don't do that before they actually start working out, no matter what it is they're about to do, even if it's been like a while or they've been doing it on a regular basis. And that's kind of how you like pull muscles and stuff like that without even realizing it, because you never actually take the time to stretch. And stretching is just good in general because you're supposed to stretch anyway, because it kind of loosens up your muscles for if you do anything hardcore. So I'm gonna try to. Because you don't want to like pull anything in the process of doing whatever it is you're trying to do. Even if it's only a 20-minute workout, that's like the worst thing you could possibly do as far as like working out. Try to get back in the groove of working out if it's been a while. And, you're over here like pulling muscles a week into your workout. So that kind of defeats the purpose. So you just want to do a couple basic stretches. Let me see if there's any more stretches I want to try. Uh, Maybe, hold on, let me move the camera. Alright, so you might want to do a stretch like this. Try to see how low you can get to your kneecap. Kind of hold it. You don't want to do a bounce thing. A lot of people tend to do this stretch and try to bounce to get closer to their knee. It's like the worst thing you can do, no matter how flexible you are or used to be or whatever, even if you do have some form of flexibility, because what you're doing is you're kind of pulling the muscle and kind of taking away from the stretch itself, because you really should just feel it kind of over here as you stretch it out right here. And then you want to switch to the other side and do the same thing. So you don't want to, like I said, you don't want to bounce. A lot of athletes tend to do that whole bounce thing, thinking that it's kind of helping with the whole stretch of your hamstring and all that. It really doesn't. It kind of just pulls muscles for no reason. And you're going to end up getting hurt later on down the line, no matter what exercises you actually do. So, and then maybe you want to do one of these so you could kind of feel, if you need to start stretching more in this particular area and stuff like that. And, how much flexibility you actually lost, if you lost any or whatever, if you used to be like a flexible person. So you kind of want to just stay here for a little bit to kind of get the stretch in, because you don't want to do the stretch too short, because then that takes away from actually like stretching. So after you do that, I think that's pretty much good enough. Now I gotta move the camera back. Alright, so the next thing you want to do is kind of do like warm-ups a little bit. So make sure if you are kind of doing it in a confined space where you're working out at, make sure you have at least some type of room. So what you want to do is maybe you want to start out with like, make sure you don't have anything too heavy like in your pockets or anything like that. But you want to start out with maybe like jumping jacks or something like that to kind of warm you up before you actually start doing your workout. Because you never want to jump right into your workout, and a lot of people think jumping right into it is really going to speed up the process of whatever their end game is. So you want to do a little bit of that, and then after you kind of get your heart pumping a little bit with some jumping jacks, because if you ever watch any workout tutorials or anything like that, they usually do their stretches and then they do like some form of a warm-up workout, whether that's like jogging in place, jumping jacks, whatever it is. So then the next thing you want to do is whatever your workout is. So since I'm standing up and I have the camera angled over there, I'm gonna do some squats, because that's a perfect workout to do if you're in your house, you don't have access to a gym, and you're trying to get yourself toned and you don't have any weights in your house. Because a lot of people think that you can't work out if you don't have weights, and that's not necessarily true. You can still work out by just using household items as either weights or using your own body weight as weights. So what you want to do is you want to go down and make sure that your knees, you can't see it based on where I have the camera angle, but you want to make sure your knees don't go over the top of your feet. And then you want to come back up and squeeze your butt in as you go down. So then that way, let me tighten these shorts up a little bit. That way, when you come back up, not only are you working out your legs, but you're toning your butt at the same time. So a lot of people think squats are just for your legs, but you can use squats to also tone your butt as well. So I'm gonna do about maybe like 10 of these, because like I said, I just got in the groove of like working out, and I'm not trying to go too hardcore, but I'm trying to keep up with the little bit of movement that I have started, so that way I don't kind of lose my groove. So I'm gonna do 10 of these. So here we go. So once you do that, like I said, you might not feel it right away, but like I said before in the beginning of this video, you don't want to go too hardcore if it's been like a minute since you've done a workout. So probably the next thing I'm going to do is some push-ups. Now, the most important thing to remember when you do push-ups is don't worry about how many you do. Worry about how many you actually do correctly. So we're not going to do girl push-ups. So that's why I say that. That was one of the lessons I actually learned when I started doing push-ups, like ever in my life. Don't worry about if you can do 10 or 20 or 15 or whatever. Worry about if you do 5 correct push-ups, do those push-ups correctly and enjoy the fact that you did 5 correct push-ups instead of doing 10 incorrect push-ups. Because the biggest thing that a lot of people do is they'll do a push-up, and one, they won't go down low enough where it counts as a push-up, and two, they start arching their back when they come up, So then it doesn't count as a push-up because you're not even working the muscles in your arm that you're supposed to work when you do a push-up. So that's the biggest thing to remember. Now, when I do these push-ups, I'm not going to guarantee that I'm even going to be able to do 10 because it's been a minute since I've actually done push-ups. So I'm not promising that I'm just going to pump out push-ups. But now I got to move the camera. Okay, so now we're back on the floor angle. So what we're going to do is, hopefully I can stretch out my legs far enough. I think I can. You don't need your arms that far apart. You can literally just have them just enough out where, both shoulders are lined up. And the closer in, I believe, when you do a push-up, the harder it is than when you do a push-up further out because you're like making it harder to go down. So what I'm going to do is to make sure that I'm even going down somewhat. You can kind of use hold on a minute. All right, sorry about that. Okay, so what I'm going to use is a ball. I mean, you kind of want to go smaller than that, like probably the size of someone's fist, like an adult fist, to make sure you're going down. But if you don't have that and you just want to make sure you're going down at all doing a push-up, I would say just use something. I mean, preferably probably a can is the next best thing, but whatever you have. So you want to go down and come back up. So that's like 2, 3, 4. I think all I'm pushing out is 4. And the key is, the reason why you want to have something by your chest when you're going down is so that way you focus more on your chest going down and coming back up than focusing on if you're just coming up, if you're just going up and down doing a push-up. Because most people, when they do a push-up, they just do a push-up just to say they did a push-up, but they never actually focus on the fact that they're going down correctly and coming back up. So, let me see. I gotta move the camera again. Yeah, so these are fun little hacks for if you're trying to work out in your house and you, like I said, you don't have access to a gym, or you don't have workout equipment, or you don't have someone to train you or tell you what to do, and you kind of have to just do it yourself. Most of the information I've gotten was from like other people who had more experience doing certain things, and I just kind of kept it with me just in case if I ever had to work out by myself, or if I was in a situation where I had to come up with ways to do a workout and not have certain equipment. So the next thing I'm gonna do, since we're standing back up, is the lovely, what do you call these? It's like where you, I guess the sit down squat, I guess it's called. I'm not entirely sure what this move is called per se. So you kind of want to sit down, and you want to sit down as if you're sitting down, obviously in a chair, and you want to sit down correctly with your back unarched. And then you want to move your feet out only about, like I said, you can't really see, but only about like a little inch from, where the legs of the chair are. You don't want to move your legs too far out unless you're trying to like do it with your legs extended. But we're going to do this in like the sitting motion. And what you're going to do is you're going to slowly scoot your butt forward. And as you scoot your butt forward, obviously you have to move your legs up a little bit more. And then you go down and you come back up. And then that will be counted as 1. And you do it again. And that would be pretty much another form of doing an arm workout without actually having to use weights or anything like that, and you still can get the results that you want if you do enough of these. So I'm going to try to see how many of these I can actually do, because I was actually pretty good at these when I used to do these all the time. So, but it's been a while, so who knows. I did about like 14 of those. Can't do anymore because the biggest thing with this is you're using your body weight pretty much as a weight. And another thing I wanted to mention is when you're squatting down low, doing these kind of like chair squats, you don't want your butt to go down too low. You just want it to go low enough where you're getting off the chair and coming back up. You don't want to like go too low with it because then that kind of defeats the purpose. But with these, when you do these, the reason why you don't want to go too low with it, it might make it too hard to come back up. And the thing is, you don't want to lose the form that you have sitting in the actual chair itself. And then the next thing is, like, when you do any of these workouts, make sure you breathe, because that's the biggest thing that kind of wears people out, is the breathing aspect of it. So I think the next thing I'm going to do, which it wasn't something I was going to do right away, I was going to hold off on getting into this, but I might do a little bit of weight working out just to kind of add more to the workout, just for the simple fact of the matter that this is kind of like a condensed workout, and I'm only kind of, like I said, just getting into the groove of working out again. So I'm not trying to overexert myself, because like I mentioned before, when you overexert yourself starting out in a workout, whether your intention is to lose weight, gain muscle, whatever your goal is, at the end of the day, you're not going to gain muscle any faster or lose weight any faster if you try to rush it. So you're better off kind of doing something to say that you kind of moved your body than overdoing it. So keep that in mind. So look at me. I'm doing workouts, but I'm not really doing a whole lot. But you can still break a sweat from it, because you have to remember, if your body hasn't done it in a while, or this isn't like a regular thing you do all the time, your body will still technically feel it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift some weights. I'm going to try to find over here in these lovely pile of weights, a weight that I can probably do a decent amount of reps without killing myself. So I'm going to be right back. Alright, so I found these 5-pound weights. I mean, I think they're like smaller weights over there, but I really don't feel like looking. So, I mean, that would have taken too long. So, I kind of want to just get this going. So, the next thing we're going to do is some dumbbell curls. Now, the biggest thing with this is, hold on, let me put these down. The biggest thing with these are, it does not matter if you're like a male or female. If you haven't done like dumbbell curls in a while, you don't want to pick the heaviest weight because of whatever size you think that you are, and you should be able to pick that weight, lift that weight. You want to pick a weight that you can still do a certain amount of reps. Usually what I do is I try to pick a decent sized dumbbell where I would do more reps instead of picking like the heaviest one and doing less reps. So that way I get more out of it, if that makes any sense. And just because you're holding like a 5-pound dumbbell does not mean that it's going to take away from the exercise itself. So you want to kind of stand kind of like where your feet lined up. You want to stand straight. You want to hold the dumbbell right, it should be right underneath, not exactly right underneath where your hip is, but it should be kind of lined up with the other dumbbell based on the way you're standing. And what you want to do is you want to go like this, and then you want to slowly go back down. And you want to do that to the other side as well. And for that, when you count it, you count each one as one. So what you want to do is, if you do this arm, it will be 1, and then that way you can count that one as 1, because then that won't be 2, if that makes any sense. So let's see how many I can do. So I'm gonna stop at 10. That's like a decent number to kind of start out with as far as doing reps. That's like the smallest amount of reps you can do, but like I said, if you're just starting out, you definitely don't want to like overdo it. So the next workout we're going to do, I don't remember the name of it though, but you kind of go like this with the weight, and you kind of just go like this. So that's one. Alright, so what you want to do is if you did 10 on this arm, you want to do 10 on the other arm. So that way you don't have one arm stronger than the other. Alright, so like I said, you want to do those nice and slow, and if you do 10 on this arm, you want to do 10 on the other arm, because you don't want one arm bigger than the other, you don't want one arm stronger than the other. That's one of the biggest things that I have. I know my right arm is definitely a hell of a lot stronger than my left arm, so I try to even out certain workouts that I do, because I know depending on what type of like lifting I'm doing, if I do lift anything, I notice that because my left arm is weaker, I have a tendency to use my right arm to compensate for my left. I don't know if anybody else has ever had that problem, but that's like a big thing with me. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put these away, and I'm gonna do one more workout. This is more of a workout for someone who's ever played like basketball or whoever's been like an athlete. And it's just another last arm workout. And then actually no, I'm gonna do one more workout after that, or a workout before I do that arm workout. What I'm gonna do is probably some squats, so you can work on the midsection as well. That's like another big thing, because not only do you want to work on your legs, your arms, and your upper body strength and stuff like that, you also want to work on your midsection as well, because that's probably where people have the most problem areas, no matter how small you are compared to somebody else. So let me put these away, and I'll be right back. All right, so what you want to do is, I don't know if you want to, oh, I forgot, I had this chair in the way. All right, let's move that out the way. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to make sure your knees are up like this, and you're going to kind of go back. It depends on what type of crunch you want to do. If you want to do all the way back and come all the way back up, it's entirely up to you. If you want to use a ball, you can use a ball. Preferably, people use like a medicine ball instead of like a soccer ball or a basketball or whatever. I mean, it's really whatever your preference is as far as this whole thing. So what you can do is you go like this, and you can even do crunches where you stop like this and hold it and see how long you can hold it. And then you can come back up, take a break, or you can do crunches where, oh, this floor is hurting my lower back. Or you could do crunches where you kind of just come up a little bit instead of going all the way down. It's how you could kind of work more on the lower abs. Okay, this floor is hurting my back. Well, I should say my butt. But you can do that. Like I said, you don't want to overexert yourself. Um, if it's been a while since you've done a workout, um, like I said, the best thing to do is to kind of find a happy medium with the workouts. To do workouts that you're gonna actually break a sweat with, but you're not going to like kill yourself. So now I need to figure out where I'm gonna angle this camera for this last thing I want to try. Let's see. Alright, I think this is the best angle I'm gonna get out of doing this. So usually I would use like a basketball, but I no longer have a basketball. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna lay back and you get the ball and you kind of throw it up and you try to catch it with the one hand, and it's preferably a shooting hand. And you want to you want to try to throw it as straight as you can, and you kind of just use the other hand as like the stabilizing hand to kind of just control the ball in place, but it's not really holding the ball. It's really just your one hand holding the ball. And you kind of just, oh, that was a bad one. And you kind of just throw the ball up in the air. Oops. Like I said, it's been a while since I've done this, so my whole aim of doing this is kind of off. But considering it's been a minute and I'm still kind of doing it, it's not too bad. And you want to, oops, messing this up. And you want to do this where you kind of feel your arm starting to burn. So you want to do this for as oh, that's the wrong way. You want to do this for as long as you can until oh, that was a bad one. Until your arms really start to burn with it, and your arm will start to burn after a while. And believe it or not, you know, at first I laughed at the guy when he told me about this. Oh, that was a really bad one. When he first told me about the exercise, but believe it or not, it actually helps with your form, with like shooting the ball and everything. I don't know how well I can do it with my left hand. I don't think I could do it that well or that high, for that matter. My left hand is kind of weak when it comes to shooting any type of see. Um, you definitely need some type of practice with that. But oh, gotta move that. There you go. Yeah, I was kind of bad with that. Like I said, it's been a while since I did that whole throwing a ball up in the air.